In this video, I want to talk to you about 7 hidden sources of gluten that will surprise you. And I'm also going to give you a few handy tips for dining out. Hi, I'm Mike Hines from justknowgluten.com. If you like the video and the content, why not give it a like and subscribe to my channel. Here's a great resource for living gluten-free. Just click the link in the description. Gluten can hide in many places that you may not even think about looking at, which makes it even more difficult for those that are on a strict gluten-free lifestyle. It's important for you to know where to look for gluten so you don't harm yourself and then wonder what you ate to cause a reaction. Hidden gluten can be found when multiple things are put together to make one food. This makes it a little bit difficult when you're reading labels, but if you know what to look for, you'll know what you can eat and what you can't eat. But it's also in other items we would ingest or come in contact with, so it's important to pay attention to everything you purchase and read all the labels on things that you would put in your mouth or on your skin. Here is just a short list of some foods, but you must read the labels for each time you purchase. Number 1. Soups. Soups prepared by a restaurant or in a can could contain gluten. Quite often, soup base is made from flour, and unless you're sure it's a gluten-free soup, it's not a good idea to even try eating it. The best way and the safest way is to make it yourself 100% from scratch. Number 2. Cooked vegetables. Now you think you'd be safe eating cooked vegetables, but that's not always the case when they're made by someone else. Some butters contain gluten, so that's one thing to look out for, but cross-contamination can also occur if the vegetables are steamed in the same water or pan that was used for the pasta it would normally go in. Now, cross-contamination doesn't affect everyone, but if you're on a gluten-free diet, it will definitely affect you. 3. Handmade potato chips. Handmade potato chips or tortilla chips can also have cross-contamination when cooked in a fryer that was used to cook breaded foods like fish or chicken. This happens a lot in restaurants because they don't A, have the time, or B, the room to dedicate one fryer to a gluten-free items only. Number 4. Meatloaf. Meatloaf, no, not the singer, Meatloaf the food, also has hidden gluten in it. Quite often meatloaf is prepared with crackers or breadcrumbs, and they do have good gluten in them. It's probably best to make your own using gluten-free oats or crushed nuts. Number 5. Certain vitamins. Certain vitamins contain wheat, and not many people bother to look at the label. You ingest these vitamins, so it's very important to watch the label and only purchase ones that are gluten-free. Number 6. Medications. Medications are another area you must be careful with because there are some on the market that contain gluten, and these can cause you problems. You may at first not even consider your medication as the one causing the problem, and instead try to figure out which food is the culprit. Number 7. Makeup. Makeup is another item you must look into when it comes to gluten. Yes, makeup, believe it or not. They may be natural, but they may also contain wheat or other gluten ingredients. Again, it's always best to read the label or contact the manufacturer just to be on the safe side. Surprisingly, gluten can be found in a lot of products we use daily. And they may not be easy to spot because of the other ingredients used to make them. That is why we always say, read the labels for all things you'd either ingest or use on your skin. Let's face it, it's a lot easier to be safe than sorry. Let's talk about dining out. Let's look at the perils of dining out and hidden gluten. Dining out can be very relaxing and enjoyable for most people, but that's not always the case for those that are on a gluten-free diet. It's important to make sure that there isn't any cross-contamination, and that's where the difficulties rise when dining out. It's also important to make sure your waiter or waitress knows exactly what gluten-free is, and if they don't fully understand the implications, you'll probably need to educate them a little. The first thing that will make your dining out experience a little bit better is to do a little bit of research before time. This bit of research could save you a lot of suffering. And it's all very easy nowadays. Just use our good old friend Google. Most chain type restaurants have their menus online for people to see. This will give you the option to see what's on the menu before you even leave home. This will avoid the going to a restaurant and either leaving without eating, or even worse, having to sit and watch your family or friends happily tuck into their meals. Now that is definitely something that you don't want to happen. Possibly one of your worst nightmares. As you become more familiar with what you can eat and the restaurants that offer gluten-free foods, it's probably a good idea to have a little list of those restaurants. Although it's always a good idea to check the menu regularly, as restaurants do change on a regular basis. As you probably know, there will be certain restaurants that will never be able to offer you anything gluten-free to eat. Well, that's okay, but it's good to know which restaurants they are. Perhaps another list for those restaurants that don't offer gluten-free food. On arriving at the restaurant, it's always important to ask questions. If you feel that your waiter or your waitress doesn't have the necessary knowledge about gluten-free food, don't give up. Ask for a manager or the head chef. It's best to be safe, so if you don't feel happy with the answers you're getting, continue up the chain with your questions. At some point, you will find someone that either knows the ingredients or will have the ability to answer your questions. Do explain your allergies to your waiter or your waitress. This will help you to have a better chance of being able to dine there. Let's face it, most restaurants want your business, so they're willing to go that extra mile to make sure you come back again. If you feel at any point your requirements are not being taken seriously, just don't eat there. You can always go somewhere else where they will take your health and well-being seriously. After all, you are the paying customer and your health matters to you. And your health deserves to be taken seriously. In life, it's never a good idea to assume anything. Restaurants do add certain ingredients to foods to give them that little bit more flavor, and assuming they won't marinate or saute or add flour to a dish to give it more flavor will only cause you problems. It's best to ask beforehand if this is something that the restaurant chef does. Then you will need to inform your waiter or your waitress of your particular requirements. This may be a little bit tedious at times, but if it avoids you being ill after your meal, then it's certainly worth doing. While some restaurants have dishes put together prior to serving, and obviously you can't remove these ingredients from it, again, it's worth just reminding your waiter or your waitress of your dietary requirements periodically during your meal. This could mean all the difference between you enjoying the whole dining out experience or regretting the whole episode. Eating gluten-free doesn't necessarily mean you can't dine out. Just do some research beforehand and ask questions. You'll soon find there are plenty of places out there where you can go and enjoy yourself without the fear of eating something that's not gluten-free. Right, I do hope you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful. Thanks very much for watching. See you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.